Welcome back to the Means Report. Thanks again to Andrew Wilder for his tax expertise. We appreciate him being here on the Means Report, and we are really grateful for our next guest. She is Jodi Lott, newly elected representative for House District number 122 in Georgia. Certainly an exciting time for her and her constituents, but Jodi, I'm just grateful that you pressed the pause button long enough to come be with us. Thank you.
Great, thank you for having me.
Yeah, here we are. I'm sorry.
I'm glad to be here.
Days away from winning the runoff, and off to Atlanta you go to learn the ropes. I guess my first question is, what is the process like now that you're a brand new lawmaker? Are there sessions over there that help teach you what to expect?
So far, I know very little.
Yeah.
But I will go tomorrow to the Republican caucus meeting that they had pre-scheduled. They were, the Republicans will all be there. Mm-hmm. So fortunately, I came in right in the nick of time, and I can show up tomorrow. Monday, we have training for all of the legislators that were elected this summer. So I believe that there are 8, maybe 2 Democrats and 6 Republicans is what they were telling me. So on Monday I will go to Atlanta again to do an orientation. But this will be a quick process for me and the other newcomers that came in during special elections.
And then after you get acclimated, by the way, we're recording this interview on a Thursday, so your 2 learning sessions, if you will, are Friday and Monday. Talk about what you want to accomplish in Atlanta. I know that you're a small business owner, and so, I thought that our first topic could be like the plight of the small businessman or woman in Georgia, but is that going to be one of your priorities, to help people out who are trying to make it on their own?
Absolutely. Yeah. That's really how I got interested in doing this in the first place. Mm-hmm. When I started becoming in charge of the business and the finance part of it, then all of the regulations fell to me. So mm-hmm. every new rule came my way, and time again I was having to readjust for the new rules that were either coming from the federal level or the state level, depending. But I started paying attention to what they were doing in Atlanta and watching legislation just to make sure I knew how it was going to affect us. So that kind of led me down this path to begin with, and absolutely. So I think that one of the greatest things that I have to bring to the table is just that perspective of what it's like, not only to read the legislation, but to know how it's going to affect the people that are sitting here at home trying to make their businesses work.
As you run Evans Rehabilitation and you help people in situations where they're trying to get back on their feet, literally, where they are recovering from ailments, injuries, has that led to an interest in helping to push healthcare-related legislation through?
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
I imagine it would.
It does. It does, both from the provider side and understanding that portion of it, but even more importantly, I was in administration and did much of the finance side of healthcare. Mm-hmm. And so I was the first line of defense when somebody was confused about the benefits that they have for their insurance company. If something was not paid that should have been paid, people letting me know that their deductibles are too high, mm-hmm. and that they pay these high premiums and still they can't get the care that they need because it's unaffordable. So I was right there, front lines, listening to these people, and knew that we needed to do something about that.
Again, I know it's early, so I don't want to ask any unfair questions because we're just getting started here, but have you had a chance to meet with other members of the legislative delegation and kind of get a feel for how you all are going to be able to work together?
Well, I am very fortunate that I have been involved in the Republican Party mostly in Columbia County already, mm-hmm. And so I am very familiar with our local delegation and have used them in the past when when I had questions or concerns or something that I thought needed to get through committee. I've made calls and mm-hmm. Sent emails to my own delegation, and so I know them, which is fantastic.
Yeah, that's good.
And they have reached out. They've been they're going to be easy to work with for sure. Now, as long as I can be easy to work with as well.
Yeah.
So that's what we hope for. But amazingly, we are having this Republican caucus tomorrow. So they have been reaching out, and for the last day and a half, I have been returning phone calls or answering phone calls from other legislators in the state.
What is it like in the early going? Are there scenarios where they've already said, hey, Jodi, help us with this and we'll help you with that? Has that happened yet? Let's get you on board here and then we'll work with you later?
I don't think I'm the right person to try that with.
Yeah.
All I'm going to say about that is I know that there are things that we're working on.
Sure.
We were working on last session, and we're going to move into that again this year. And But I want to get there, and I want to be there to listen to the debate, be a part of any of the committees, be there for it as they discuss the issues. So I didn't ever want to commit completely to anything until I was there. And that was one of the interesting things that I've had to learn. There are people who are passionate about issues because they've been there for the entire battle, but I have yet to be there. And so my answers were always, yes, I've read this and I can appreciate it and it seems like it's the right direction, but can you just let me get there and make sure I know all the sides before I commit?
Anything that you can think of off the top of your head that you might be able to accomplish in Atlanta that would benefit the Columbia County citizen on a day-to-day basis, something that he or she would notice about life in Columbia County, in the district, that would make them say, hey, thanks a lot, Jodi Lott and company, we appreciate it? Well,
and again, I'm speaking a little bit out of turn because I'm at this point still an armchair quarterback where I've been watching my state, General Assembly for years, kind of picking it apart from here, but never really knowing what they've gone through. I have the opportunity to look for committees, and certainly transportation is one of the committees I'm going to request, but that's, there are so many, so the chances may not be that I get on it. But transportation is a big issue for Columbia County because so often we want to be funded a little better, and we're growing, and we want to be recognized. In Atlanta, I know that I feel this way, whether or not it's accurate, but we sometimes feel here that Atlanta gets the attention and we're being a little bit left behind. So I hope to get in there and be able to at least represent our area for that. And then otherwise, there are just some big issues. I really see every year we do healthcare related issues, and we really are a healthcare destination. So this is just huge for our entire area that someone with healthcare experience will be there. That of course is important to me, to make sure that I have the ability to represent our doctors, all of our medical providers.
Talk a little bit more about transportation. We had Don Grantham, the DOT commissioner here, the chair of the board, talking about the $2 billion+ that he has to work with to help Georgia's transportation needs. How might some of that cash help Columbia County? Are you looking at congestion relief at this point, or are you looking at new construction to make sure that all your residents have a smoother smoother commute in your county? Because you're right, it is blowing up out there.
Well, we are very fortunate to have Don Grantham. And another relationship, just being involved in the community that I had developed in the past, and I'm thankful for him, and I look forward to working with him. The truth is, he knows much more about it than I do at this point. So to answer, I can only speak as a traveler, and yes, I do believe that the rate at which we're growing, we certainly need to work on the infrastructure that we have, but we need to advance that as well and continue to build some bigger and better roads, because we are growing, and we are not going to stop growing because this is an amazing community. So,
what about education? I almost didn't ask you about it because Columbia County really sets the standard statewide when it comes to our schools, but anything on the education front that concerns you or interests you?
We are very fortunate, both from the perspective of our Board of Education and our superintendent in Columbia County is amazing, and our teachers. We're very lucky. But we're also very lucky because we have amazing parents. Our students are a reflection of that. But I honestly believe this, and having been in the classrooms watching some of these teachers work, they are limited. They have the ability, the capability, the degree to allow them to make decisions, and yet we have bound them down with all of, again, more regulations and guidelines that are coming up from the federal level and the state level. So it's really a shame to send somebody to college or give them an education degree and grant them all, bless them with this knowledge and then send them out and tell them you can't make any decisions. You're looking at the students, you know exactly what they need. We need to let them have the freedom to do that.
Has anyone called you yet and said, look, I know you're new, but do this for me? Fix my pothole. Anything like that happen yet?
Yeah. When they say fix my pothole, I direct them to Gary Richardson. He
go.
is the new District 3 commissioner.
Yeah, that's his job.
Yeah. So I've already, they've already laughed that I've already learned how to shove that one off. But no, there are people that are passionate in this community about issues, as am I and as was I. So Yes, I have been made aware of some of the areas that are important to people. Fortunately, they're the same areas that have been important to me. So right now, we're all on the same path. I have not been hit with anything new. I do know that people are concerned about their health care. They are concerned about our teachers having the ability to teach. And they are concerned about this religious freedom bill that they know is coming back. And I think, we've talked about transportation. So these are the issues we all see every day.
I have about 15 seconds, and this question really doesn't matter because it's too late, but is your family okay with you now being consumed by this new job and everybody wanting a piece of you?
Well, we don't know what to expect quite yet, but my husband was the one that told me to run. He absolutely, when I looked at him with that shocked look in my face and said, "What do I do? The seat is open." He said, "You run," because for years I have watched this happen outside of my life and wanted to be a part of it. So.
Well, I'm glad that you are, and wish you all the best as you take off for Atlanta. We'll be rooting for you, and congratulations.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Anytime. Jodi Lott, Representative of District 122 in the Georgia General Assembly. All the best to her. We'll be right back with a story about a guy who got a ticket right in front of his brand new girlfriend's parents' house. You'd think it would end horribly. It ended beautifully. Stay with us.